everybody. Welcome to the Aren't You Tired Of podcast, the podcast where we talk about all the things that we're tired of, and the list is long. But the most important thing is we talk about what to do about them, how to make your work and life better. And that's going to be our focus. So today, we're really happy that you're hanging out with us. With me, I'm Patti Johnson, a co-host with my co-host.
Yeah, Mark Benton. Hello.
Hello, and we're glad you're here. So the topic we want to lead y'all through is, aren't you tired of being ordinary? And not reinventing yourself, staying the same. And we were inspired by two people that you all know and love, and that is Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart.
Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart.
And Martha, who have this unlikely friendship, business partnership, and they've both really evolved and done so much. Now, Snoop, as you know, if any of you were watching the Olympics last month, these two, Snoop was everywhere, right? He was commentating. He was commentating on the skaters. He was going curling
to the opera.
He was everywhere. And Martha was with him some. Martha is launching her new skin line. These two are everywhere, and they've been around a long time.
They really have.
Everywhere.
They really have. And the thing that's so funny, some of our viewers may be like, "No, why are y'all talking about Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart?" And if you know us, okay, just stop and think about that. Why we would talk about them? Think about me and Patti. If you're watching and you're watching the podcast on video, think about this. When we started this podcast, some people even joke. They're like, "Oh, it's like the Snoop and Martha pairing."
Exactly.
The two of you together. And some people, I think you said even one of your friends may, but now, how do you know Mark?
You guys are just we're so different, which we've been friends for years. And, it's funny because Mark mentioned, and we had a good laugh over it.
We did. We really did.
We did. And then it was funny. Then that led into a conversation about, you know what? These are pretty interesting people. They have done some pretty cool things. And we think not only are they fun for us to talk about and you all see them everywhere, we think there are some really great life lessons that we can all learn from. And that's what we're going to cover today. We got 5 or 6 that we're going to talk about. And hopefully, even though no one listening, I don't think, has the fame and international business awareness that those two have, there are going to be some little kernels in there that I think y'all can take and use.
I agree. So we're going to dive in. You ready?
Let's do it.
Well, I think the first thing when I think about Snoop and Martha, I'll kind of give, for those of you that may not know, I'll give you a little bit of background. So Snoop, back in the 90s, 1900s, in the 1900s, was a highly successful rapper, West Coast, if I could. I probably shouldn't throw up a gang sign. But you know what I mean.
No.
Anyway, he was a West Coast hip hop rapper. Think back on Gin and Juice. Who here knows about the Dog Father? I won't mention some of the other things. But then, in kind of the mid-90s, he had that great successful series on the Animal Planet where he would use his voice and voice over the animals. Hilarious. Which influenced, for those of you that are coming along now, and you think about on social media where these people are voicing over animals and what they're saying, that he started that's where it started. And then he was a coach and a judge on The Voice. If I think back about, Gin and Juice and the Dog Father, he's come a long way. Long way. And, then, of course, you talked about it, hosting the Olympics. Now, Martha Stewart, whole other side, of the spectrum on that. She probably was, I would say, one of the OG influencers.
Oh, for sure.
She started out with, Martha Stewart Home. She had, it was Omni, I can't think of the company, but it was magazine, it was television, it was product placement, books. It was everything. And, she was setting a standard for how to create not only the perfect best home, the cooking, the everything, the gardening, all of these things. It's like, how does this lady do all this in one day?
She got some help.
Right. Well, she had some helpers, but she didn't look like she had the helpers, right? But product placement, multiple partnerships, do it yourself, all these great things. And so the takeaway, you know, for me around, you know, reinventing yourself while still staying true is, you know, we discuss things like, you know, how you might play it safe, but it's important to evolve.
Oh, for sure.
And so in all those instances, you know, we talked about, you know, Martha got into a little bit of issues, a little trouble, got, you know, held up in the clink. And, but when she came back out, you know, now look at her, you know, just she's different.
Yeah. I think, you know, those two, I can't think of a better example of people who have reinvented themselves over, I mean, maybe Cher and Dolly Parton in terms of people that we all know, but they've been pretty true to who they were. I mean, you know, I think these two have stayed true to themselves, but they have also continued to evolve and do new things. And so I think important. Our encouragement is, in terms of the takeaway to you all, well, you might be in a new season, in a new chapter. Are you still doing the same old thing? Are you still wearing the same pants? Are you still doing the same habits you've always had?
Yeah.
Maybe now's the time to think about what your reinvention would be. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How about you? What's one of the lessons that you've thought about? Yeah, from them.
Well, I think one of them, it's a little bit related to that, but do the unpredictable, go to the dang thing. And let me tell you what I mean by that. So if you have not seen the Martha documentary, you should. I mean, it is. I loved it. It's very interesting. And it really tells her story all the way through. And so what happened is, and Mark mentioned this, we can debate if she was the poster child, but she ended up going to prison for insider trading. And she was there for 3 months or so. And this was at the time when she had been big.
It was huge.
Huge, okay? She had all these brand deals, all these sponsorships. Well, when you go to prison, at that day and time, she lost all of it, right? Okay,
her sponsors pulled out and,
everybody. And so this is the gist of the story. I'm going to hopefully get this pretty much accurate. So when she gets out of prison, she's kind of at I got to start over, right? And she has built all these businesses, and she's thinking, okay, well, what am I going to do now? How am I going to do that? She gets a call to be on the Justin Bieber roast.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, I did too, which is really funny. But, you know, you think, and she's like, I think at first, like, why would I go do that? But go to the thing. She's like, I might as well.
When I saw her there, I was like, what is Martha doing there?
But she killed it. You can now go on YouTube and see some of the clips from that. She killed it, got great reviews. But one other very important thing happened. She talked about in the documentary how she sat next to Snoop. And she said, like, these roasts, a lot of times, you know, you think of they last an hour, hour and a half, whatever. You think, well, that doesn't take long. She said, well, reality, when you're involved in that, you're there all day. So she said, we sat next to each other.
Oh, yeah.
All day.
All day.
And got to be friends, got to talk about how they might work together. And it set in motion. I mean, I don't know when that was, 20-some years ago. And
something like that.
Now, that what started by sitting next to him, the two of them built this big friendship. And
well, because she went to the thing.
She went to the thing.
And
I think that is, I'll speak for myself. Sometimes I don't want to go to the thing. I'd rather stay home and watch Lincoln Lawyer, which, by the way, if you haven't watched it, it's so good.
Is it good?
But, yeah, it's really good.
Is it really good?
Yeah, it's good. But you don't want to go do the unpredictable thing. You don't want to go with the people that you don't know. In her case, why was she going to a Justin Bieber roast? You know? So that, I think...
Well, I have some thoughts.
Yeah.
She wasn't getting any other invites.
Well, see, exactly. She said that. Like, well, what else was I supposed to do? You know?
Right.
So that got her back out there. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, why not? And it reminded me of a personal story in terms of go to the thing. So when I started my business, and I mean started it, I mean like first week or two, I had just kind of was, okay, I'm going to start out, I'm going to be on my own, and then I'm going to add to it over time.
Yeah.
I mean, I was more clueless than I realized at the time. Okay, I didn't know what I was doing. But anyway, so I realized, okay, I need to get out there. I need to be doing more.
Yep.
And I was very involved in my sorority in college. So I was a little Pi-Phi. And then I get a friend said, well, why don't you come to the Pi-Phi alum meeting?
Yeah.
And at our small town. And I thought, oh, I don't think I want to go. It doesn't seem like something that would be, I'd want to do. I had been so busy at the time. The kids were young. It just, all the time I thought, I just don't have time.
Yeah.
But I went.
Yeah. You went to the thing.
Went to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
We go around and introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Explain who I am. So I'm just starting this business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Across the room. Another alum.
Okay.
Maria.
Okay.
Says, hey, I need to talk to you at break.
Oh,
because
okay.
I have a client for you.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, she did.
Okay.
And so we ended up, talked at break, became friends, kept in touch.
Yeah.
But after that, she connected me. I'll explain the details of she was going back into industry or whatever.
Yeah.
Connected me to the client. Met with him. Went great.
Yeah.
Within about 4 business days, I was working on a brand new client.
Okay. Now, was this your first client?
First.
Wow.
One.
Okay. Your first one.
First one.
That really, so that was the moment that launched your successful business.
Well, that's probably, it was step one.
It was step one because you went to the thing.
I went to the thing. And I think that's the takeaway is don't be so clever that you already know that's not worth my time. Or I don't want to go meet with that person. And I think some people that are a little bit opportunistic.
Yeah.
Oh, that person can't help me.
Well,
don't be so clever.
It's what you're saying. Don't be so clever. Don't be so precious and proud.
Yes.
Right. And if we think about it, kind of, our two anchor characters here, Snoop and Martha, she wasn't getting an invite anywhere else. No. Now, it's not to say that you weren't getting other invites, but you decided to go to the thing.
It's something that I really wasn't excited to go.
Yeah. And, you went.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I think that our encouragement to you all is go to the dang thing.
Yeah, go to the dang thing.
Go to the thing.
You don't have to go to everything.
No.
Just go to something.
No. We are, Mark and I both, in several of these episodes, we've talked about don't say yes to everything.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with your time.
Yeah.
But
it's like my grandmother said, you got to know how to pick.
You got to know how to pick. I think what we're saying is if you're trying to do something new, you're trying to reinvent, you're going to have to step into a little bit different space.
Yeah, you got to.
You got to do it.
And I think going along with that and stepping into a new space, one of the other, call outs that, we were discussing when we were kind of planning for this episode is have friends and partnerships with people that are different than you. It's just as important, who you know as who you don't know.
Oh, that's a great point, Mark.
And, so if we kind of go back to the friendship between Martha and Snoop, right? Snoop has credited Martha with giving him, great wise counsel around business and branding and something she knew and did very well. And she has said that, he is very shrewd and a wise and better negotiator. In fact, I was doing a little bit other research around this, and she has said that, Snoop kind of coming up like he did, West Coast rapper, and how those, individuals kind of come up. There's a hustle involved. She had hustle, obviously. It might have looked different in the circles and the work she was doing, but he taught her a different kind of hustle, a more shrewd and way of kind of navigating through. And so, they looked for ways to partner together, like you said, where they met each other. And, the takeaway here, I think, for our listeners and for us to think about is, do you need to expand your circle, especially if you're trying to do something different and big? And who are those people? How do you go to the thing and to meet people and with an intent in mind? Maybe not even an expectation, because, I'm imagining if I'm kind of going back to Patti, going to that, alumni event, you didn't expect that was what was going to happen. You went maybe knowing it's probably good.
I went out of obligation because a friend asked me to go.
Because I asked you to go.
I got to go.
So it wasn't even really you going because you're like, hey, this is networking. You were like,
no,
this person has guilted me into going to this thing.
She didn't even that. It was just like I felt like I said I would go.
Yeah, I like the story better that you were guilted and you felt like that because then it came into something beautiful.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So, there are examples in your life where you can always be 1 + 1 = 2, but there are examples in your life and situations where 1 + 1 can equal 3. It can be different, And
I think, add to that too, Mark, on the takeaway, what's the expression? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
You're in the wrong room.
Wrong room.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah. What else?
Yeah, let's talk about another one. And this one is maybe this one may be a little bit geared toward our women listeners, female listeners. And that is forget imposter syndrome. And the reason I bring it up, again, if you haven't seen the Martha documentary, Martha's not having imposter syndrome.
She's not doing it.
She's not having it. And in fact, she was interviewed on something else I saw her on, and they said, Martha, what do you think about imposter syndrome? She's like, what are you talking about? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You are, if you are an entrepreneur, which she was the classic entrepreneur, you got to get on the horse and ride it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Enough of you shouldn't even be talking about that. So, and in the documentary, she had a little bit of that reaction too. Of that's ridiculous to talk about. And it's funny because I can't tell you how many women's leadership books or conferences I've been to, and it will come up every time. Yeah. I know, do men have imposter syndrome?
I was just sitting here thinking, I wanted you to get through,
I got some more
your
on
point.
It.
Yeah,
I got
but
some more.
Yes, I can't speak for all men, but I'm just going to say in general, yes, men do. We just don't talk about it.
Well, and it's
because we can't. Because when you talk about, I feel like an imposter, then it's like, dude, bruh, come on. You got to go be the man. Go do the thing. You're not an imposter because we're supposed to walk in and have the swagger and own the thing and be confident and all that. But the truth is, we just don't talk about it.
You just don't talk about it. So I think, and the reason I bring it up, in the spirit of, this month is International Women's Day. And that is a common theme. And one thing it's bothered me a little bit because for a while, even pre-Martha, because it sounds like a disease. Like you've got a bad case of the imposter syndrome. Yeah. I think all of us, like you talk about with men feeling, who doesn't at times have, if you don't have any self-doubt ever, you're probably mentally not well. Yeah. Okay. So you have self-doubt. You do question yourself. There are times you don't feel confident. Yeah. But when you put a label on yourself like that, it feels a little different than I don't feel confident in this situation, or those people make me feel anxious. This situation makes me feel anxious.
Right. First of all, it's really, I'm going to kind of take it down to, it's simple terms for me. You're not being kind to yourself, first of all. You're not being kind to yourself when you're, kind of making that label. And we all do. We all have that self-talk. But, when I was growing up, my family, my parents, and, family members, they were like, don't let anybody make you feel like you don't belong in the room. Yeah. Right. And so it's very important, I think, to understand where you come from and that you have a right to be there.
You have a right to be there.
I have a friend, a really close friend that, her whole concept that she talks about is you deserve to be at that table.
Bring what you have.
Bring what you have. Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's going to be the same as everybody else in the room.
It doesn't have to be.
No. And I think that I think that is such an important concept. And the other thing that I want to say related while I'm on this, I'm like that.
Preach and teach, Patti. Go ahead. Preach and teach.
Is that and this is something I probably see more in women. And that is the old, I was just so lucky. Now,
say more about that.
I was so lucky to get the promotion. I was so lucky to be hired. I was just, it just kind of fell in my lap. I mean, that's what it implies. And, and I want to say that's a dangerous way to think. And
why is it?
Well, because, by the way, I am going to say I could make a very long list of the people who have been so kind to me and have supported me and mentored me. Also, I have sometimes serendipity, the universe, a God thing, whatever you want to call it. There have been things in my life that, like, how did that even happen? For sure. So I have been fortunate, blessed, and gratitude is key to our just well-being. All that is said. But once you start, again, back to labeling, I was just so lucky. Then all of a sudden, well, you didn't have anything to do with it. It wasn't that you were, maybe one of the reasons you were mentored and sponsored by so many people is because, Mark, your work was great. You built relationships. People trusted you and they felt comfortable sponsoring you. So don't.
I got what you're saying.
So it's like, be careful about that lucky, because in some ways it almost like you just stumbled in. It didn't. It discounts your effort and work.
It takes away from your work. It takes away from what you brought to the table, how hard you've worked. You know, and it takes away from what we were just saying. Like, you deserve to be there.
That's right.
Especially if you put in the time.
Right.
And you put in the energy and the skill, and you got the will to, do it. That makes total sense.
Yeah, you didn't just get lucky about being a great parent. You didn't just get lucky about being promoted to vice president in your case. You didn't just get lucky of starting a little community effort that has been really successful. Of course you were fortunate. Of course people helped you. But that doesn't mean that it was all luck, and it did. Your work mattered.
That's very important.
Think that's the takeaway I want to say, because back to Martha, Martha is no imposter syndrome for me. It's on you to get it done and make it happen. So I think that's a little bit of a contradiction, but I think when we think about how we got where we are, we don't want to assume we just stumbled our way in.
Well, that's true. And, being true to who you are was something we had talked about. And, if you think about both Martha and Snoop, he has always been himself, right? Wasn't apologizing.
No, shows up the same way.
Shows up the same way. I mean, when he was then and when he's now, shows up the same way, and same energy. I think also in coming through that, there's another point that we should bring up, and it's about when you overcome a stereotype that you turn into an advantage. So to set the context for both of them, it's like, okay, think about Snoop. He wasn't doing family-friendly music.
No.
Martha, wasn't, out somewhere. I'm going to be a little bit on the edge here. She wasn't in the club, and she wasn't, working a pole or something crazy like that. She had a very, pulled together, prim and proper, like I always pictured her somewhere in, Connecticut, on her farm.
There's a lot between prim and proper and working the pole. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna call it out.
I don't know, Patti. Let's think about that. 1 + 1 does not have to equal 2. 1 + 1 can be 3.
I just felt like I needed to say it.
Well, I'm glad you said it.
It's a continuum, right?
I'm glad you said it, and I think I maybe. Maybe.
Sorry, you lost your train of thought.
But I think, well, you know what? I think it's a good point to bring up. Prim and proper, working a pole. But I think that let's be clear, they might be the same. Both of them use the stereotype to their advantage. And so, Martha still kind of, comes as, this, kind of pulled together person, but she's got a little bit more of an edge to her now.
She does.
Right? She's still, even the way she speaks, her cadence and all that is still the same. Snoop is still the same, but, he's a little more refined.
Oh, for sure. Or he wouldn't be doing the things he's doing.
Right.
He wouldn't be like the ambassador of the Olympics if he weren't a little bit more refined than he was in 1996.
That's right. Yeah. But I think sometimes you can take what you have and surprise people, surprise yourself and surprise others, do something different. Like, if being in human resources, there are more women in, that profession than men. And so, I've gone to the painting class, I've gone to the spa, and I've done these things, and I'm like, here I am, sitting here, drinking my mimosa with my cucumber patches on my eyes and everything,
Don't be putting that down. Well, that sounds pretty good there.
It was good.
Yeah.
I didn't admit it at the time, but it was good, right?
Like going doing that.
Yeah, just do something different. Do something that is uniquely you and do it well.
Yeah.
That's the point.
That's the takeaway.
And that's the takeaway. Do something that's uniquely you and do it well. Because at the end of the day, we talked about this in maybe one of our early on episodes, is that when you feel different and you use that difference that difference becomes a divider, right? That's not always, I think, where you want to be. I think use your difference to amplify.
Yeah.
Right? Use your difference, not necessarily, and this is just Mark talking, you may feel differently, listeners, but don't always use your difference as a wedge or as a nudge. Yeah. Use it, nudge and nudge are different things.
Yeah, two different.
Yeah. A nudge is like a nudge. If you're a nudge,
that's big.
That's big. I mean, you're really pushing somebody,
it's bad.
Just don't be a nudge. Anyway, that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that, use that advantage that you have and use it well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's important and it means something.
For sure. So let me just, in terms of just starting to wrap, let me say our last thing that Mark and I have come up with in terms of life lessons from Snoop and Martha.
Yeah.
And that is, you can have fun and still reach your goals.
Yeah.
If you watch the two of them, they are having a great time. Yeah. They are laughing. We're laughing. And, they are, and meanwhile, two business juggernauts.
Yeah.
Those two, that they have built up an incredible business, helped each other, and been individually very, very successful.
Yeah.
But they're still having a dang good time.
I think we might be really good friends with them.
We could.
And maybe Snoop, Martha, or if someone out there listening, them. Let's just have a little play date. Let's just maybe
they would.
Let's take a meeting. Let's maybe a little brunch. We could do that.
Why not?
We could do that.
But I think the takeaway is you can work really hard.
Yeah.
Do big things and have fun.
Yes, you can.
And one of the things that is, I'm kind of obsessed with little Alyssa Liu.
Oh,
who
yes.
was, if you're in the Olympics, been watching the Olympics.
Yeah.
Who won gold.
Yes.
And
was not expected.
Not expected. Her story, I'll give the headlines. Some of you may already know it, but it really fits this point of, she had been a really top skater, and at 16, she was burned out. Okay, had done it, had it.
Yeah.
I need a break. She said, I took a break and I was shocked. Went on vacation. She had never been on a vacation. Yeah. Had never been able to just hang out with friends. I think she went to UCLA, went to school.
And great school. Lots to do, but
took a break.
Yeah.
And then about a year ago decided, you know what? After a ski trip with her friends, she was like, I think I want to skate again.
Yeah.
And so she got back into it and started skating. And she said, the joy in skating, I found it.
The thing that's so interesting about that is when she quit, because I kind of researched this a little bit and researched her, and they told her story. For her to decide to come back a year ago.
Unheard of.
And now win the gold medal.
Unheard of. Well, and Tara Lipinski, who was she and
gold
Johnny were
medalist
great.
back in the 90s. Yeah,
she was one of the, she had won the same gold medal.
Yeah.
And the two of them were saying unheard of.
Yeah.
Unheard of. Biggest comeback story ever. But if you haven't seen her, go back and look at some of her interviews and features about her. Because
just watch her
joyful.
When she was skating. Watch her times when she's skating.
And she said, it wasn't really about the medals. I just wanted to get out there. I knew that I was going to be able to skate at the Olympics, and I wanted to do my best.
Yeah.
And so joyful. She was so happy when she finished. It wasn't like, oh, great, I got my gold. Yeah. Because there are so many other skaters that you can you can feel the anxiety through the screen.
The intensity.
And you can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, you work for 4 years for something that's 4 minutes.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. As I was listening to the commentators and we were listening and watching, and we were talking about the fact that like when they would talk about where they're doing their jumps and flips and where their skates would hit, and the fact that it was not a full rotation. It was only a half rotation when the skate touched. And I was like, are you kidding me? They are up in the air making these rotations where they're going to land, and the skate
is a little bit like 2 inches
like
off.
2 inches off.
Yeah.
Like what? But that's the level of intensity that
and pressure.
You don't do it. You don't do it for a long time, and then in a year you come back and get to it.
But I think
that's
the
impressive.
lesson here related to finding the joy.
I mean, we might be Alyssa Lou Glamored right now, but the point is,
on the train.
We are. I am
on the train.
I think we could be friends with her too.
Big fan. Oh, she can come and she can join us with.
She could join us.
Martha.
She could.
And I think the big thing here is find your joy in what you are doing.
Yeah.
And like for her, in her case, the only way she was going to find it, she had to take a break.
She had to take a break.
She had to take a break.
Yeah.
Now, some of us don't have that luxury. Many of you listeners, I'm sorry, I need to be working. I'm not going to be taking a break.
Certainly someone had to go to jail and took a break.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what I mean? Maybe it's where can I hit reset so I can find my joy again.
Right.
And life's too short. If you're like, this is miserable, you got to either find it through a break or change the channel and find another thing you'd be doing. So that's our final lesson from Snoop and Martha.
Yeah.
But as we always end all of our episodes, we always like to say, what's the biggest takeaway? Mark, what was your takeaway from this conversation? Other than you want to ask Snoop and Martha and Alyssa
I want to ask them
for
lunch.
brunch.
Yeah, let's go do brunch.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to brunch.
That'll happen.
Snoop,
it might just
Martha,
be you and me, and
but I do want to do
Shelley.
that. Right. My takeaway on all this is just the simple thing that you had said earlier. Sometimes you just need to go to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in order to maybe find that partnership, that pairing, that person that elevates you or that can complement you and help you in your journey. You know, sometimes you got to come out of that zone and just sometimes go to the thing. Just see.
Go to the thing.
Yeah. How about you? What's your takeaway?
Well, one of my takeaways is one of our big words was reinvention. And I think, I know for me, the business I built and along with the other really talented people was acquired, changed a lot. And I think it changed this chapter of my life that's much more of a portfolio of things, of being on a board and having a podcast and advising and coaching at clients.
Yeah.
That the importance of recognizing, you know what? I am starting a new chapter.
Yeah.
How do I reinvent myself for this chapter? And I think those of you who are in different stages, maybe now you are a leader and you didn't used to be.
Yeah.
Maybe now you changed careers. Maybe you retired. Whatever it is stopping to recognize, how do I reinvent?
Yeah.
And how do I kind of like take who I am, not lose myself, and carry it forward. Like Snoop and Martha.
Like Snoop and Martha.
Snoop and Martha.
I love
that.
Like
that they've done.
Or like Mark and Patti.
Yes, there we go.
There
We're
you
trying.
go. That's
We're
right.
Trying,
That's right. Well, I enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
This
it was
is a good
so
one.
fun. And again, I hope listeners, like you said, at first you may have been going, Snoop and Martha.
Yeah.
I hope there's some really great takeaways from those two interesting people.
Yeah.
And that maybe it'll make you think, or you'll have a conversation with your team and your friends. So if this conversation was helpful, we hope you will share it with any of your friends that are like big Snoop and Martha fans.
That's right. Or
anyone.
Or Mark and Patti fans. There you go.
Absolutely. Or people that you think are like kind of want to do something different, want to reinvent, are feeling a little too ordinary.
Yeah.
Life's a little too boring.
Yeah.
So we hope you'll share. Also, we would love it if you would subscribe to our podcast. Go on Apple. We're also on Spotify.
Yep. Just search by Aren't You Tired Of?
You will find us, and you will find our little pictures right there.
Yeah.
And we would love it if you would subscribe. We'd love it if you'd leave a comment, if you would rate us, if you would give us feedback.
That's helpful.
You know
to
how
us,
to reach us. You can message us on either Instagram, on LinkedIn. Some of you have our email. You can also, if you don't have our email, you can email us at podcast@Patti B. Johnson. That's Patti with an I, B. Johnson. And we have already received so many great ideas on future topics, some questions.
Yeah,
so we love it. Mark and I mean, it just makes our day when we get those great suggestions. So we hope that you'll stay in touch with us, hang out with us again the next time. And thank you all so much for joining us. I hope you have a great week like Snoop and Martha.
Yeah.
And
enjoy every day.
Enjoy it every day.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all. Thanks for joining.
Bye.